taxi pulled into the driveway just as the sun dipped behind the trees, casting long shadows across the neatly trimmed lawn. The house looked the same: white fence, blooming tulips, wind chimes gently ringing on the porch. It felt like home, and after 2 weeks away, I needed it to feel like home. I hadn't even reached the door before it swung open. "Welcome back," she beamed, rushing out barefoot, arms flung wide. I dropped my bag and caught her in a hug that nearly knocked the wind out of me. She smelled like fresh laundry and lavender, just like always. "I missed you so much," she whispered into my neck. "I missed you more." She pulled back, her eyes shining. "Dinner's almost ready, your favorite." "Roast chicken?" I grinned. She nodded. "With lemon and garlic, just the way you like it." God, I loved her. Lily, my wife. Sweet, soft-spoken, always thinking of me. The kind of woman who remembered if I preferred cold water or room temperature, who made little notes in my suitcase when I traveled. "Don't forget to smile. Eat something green today. Come home to me." And I always did. Inside, everything was just how I left it. Cleaner, maybe. The pillows fluffed, the shelves dusted, the table already set for two. A gentle melody floated from the kitchen, her playlist of classic love songs. She served dinner, sat across from me, and watched with delight as I devoured the first bite. "So?" she asked, tilting her head. I swallowed. "Perfect, as always." Her eyes softened. "You look tired." "It was a long trip." "Maybe you should rest. I can unpack your suitcase later." I raised an eyebrow. "You're spoiling me." She smiled. "That's my job." Later, I lay in bed, listening to the hum of the ceiling fan. Lily was brushing her hair by the vanity, the light casting a golden glow across her face. She caught me staring in the mirror. "What?" she laughed. "Nothing," I said. "Just, it's good to be home." She turned, hair cascading over one shoulder. "Then don't leave again." "I'll try not to." She climbed into bed beside me, curled into my side, and I kissed her forehead. In that moment, I felt like the luckiest man alive. But if I'd known what was coming, if I'd known that the woman lying next to me wasn't who I thought she was, I never would have closed my eyes. The first few days back were blissful. We fell into our usual routine. Coffee in the mornings, walks in the evening, her head on my chest as we watched old movies. Lily laughed at all the right moments, remembered all my favorite snacks, even brought me a pair of socks I'd forgotten I liked. Everything was perfect, too perfect. It started with the sugar. Black coffee. I blinked, staring into the steaming mug. She set it in front of me, smiling. "You're trying to cut back on sugar, remember?" I forced a nod. "Right, I forgot." But I hadn't. I always took 2 sugars. I never changed. Then there was her handwriting. She left a note in my jacket one morning before I headed out to run errands. A simple, "Have a good day, love you," with a little heart drawn underneath. Except the heart curved wrong. The tail of the Y didn't loop like it used to. It was stupid, insignificant. Maybe she was just writing fast. Maybe I was overthinking it. Still, I kept the note, put it in my wallet. That night, I tested her. "Remember that cabin trip last year? The one where you freaked out because we saw a raccoon?" She laughed. "You mean when you screamed like a little girl and ran inside?" I froze. "No," I said carefully. "You screamed. You wouldn't leave the cabin for the rest of the weekend." You said the woods felt wrong. Her smile faltered for just a second, just long enough. Did I? She said softly. Guess I must have blocked it out. She leaned in and kissed my forehead, but my stomach turned. That wasn't how Lily would have responded. She would have insisted, argued, brought up the photo she took of the raccoon's glowing eyes. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at her while she slept. Her breathing slow, face turned to the window. The moonlight cast a strange sheen on her skin. Too pale, too smooth. Was it possible to forget someone, or worse, remember them wrong? I pulled up old videos, our honeymoon, her laugh. Was it higher pitched now, more restrained? In one clip, she danced in the kitchen, hair in a messy bun, singing off-key. The real Lily never sang in tune, but the Lily here, the one in bed, never sang at all. I told myself I was being paranoid, stress from work, jet lag, but I couldn't shake it. Then came the bleach. I returned early from a grocery run to the overpowering stench of chemicals. The whole house reeked. I followed the smell, expecting to find her scrubbing the bathroom, but it led to the basement door. She appeared suddenly, smiling, wiping her hands on a towel. Just cleaning the bathroom, got carried away. I forced a laugh. Smells like you cleaned with acid. She chuckled. Guess I used too much. Her hands trembled slightly as she walked past me. I stood at the top of the basement stairs for a long time. I wanted to open that door, go down, look, but I didn't, not yet. That night, I watched her brush her hair in the mirror again. She didn't blink. Her strokes were slow, rhythmic, almost robotic. Then she started whispering. I leaned closer. Not English, not any language I recognized, just a guttural, melodic whisper, almost like chanting. I stepped back. My heart thudded in my chest. She stopped, turned her head slightly. You okay, honey? She asked. I nodded, throat dry. Yeah, just tired. She smiled. Then sleep, I'll be right there. I turned off the light and lay in bed, pretending to drift off, but I didn't sleep. I couldn't, because the woman in the mirror, she wasn't Lily. The next morning, she hummed in the kitchen as if nothing had happened. She made pancakes, blueberry just like I liked them. The smell filled the house. She danced barefoot on the tiles, flipping them with ease. But the sound of her humming made my skin crawl. There was no melody, just notes repeating over and over. Like she didn't understand music, only the idea of it. I watched her movements, flawless, almost rehearsed. Her eyes never quite met mine. I needed to know. Oh, while she showered, I snuck into the closet. There it was, her jewelry box. Lily never left the house without her silver locket. I hadn't seen it in weeks. I opened the box. Empty. That was wrong. Lily kept everything. Old rings, dried flowers, even a broken bracelet I'd given her in college. All gone. I moved to her drawer. Neat, too neat, like a catalog. No clutter, no mismatched socks, no receipt stubs, no tiny treasures from trips we'd taken. And in the back, something wrapped in fabric. I unrolled it. A phone, not hers, older, scratched, locked with a passcode. My blood turned cold. Why would she hide a phone? That night, I waited for her to sleep. Her breathing evened out, slow and shallow. I slid out of bed, silent. I took the phone to the kitchen, turned it on, still locked. I tried her birthday, our anniversary. No luck. Then, my birthday. It unlocked. Only one video was saved. I hit play. dark screen, then static, then her, Lily, tied to a chair, crying, bruised. She screamed my name, then a voice, soft, feminine, calm. You took everything from me. Now I'm giving you everything back. A perfect wife. A second chance. Lily sobbed, begged. The screen cut to black. I stared at the phone, hand shaking. The thing in my bed wasn't my wife. I crept to the bedroom, heart hammering. She lay there, still, peaceful. But suddenly, her eyes opened. You watched it, she whispered. I stepped back. Who are you? She sat up slowly. I'm your wife. Number, you're not? Where's Lily? Her head tilted. She was broken. I fixed her. I became her. Isn't this what you wanted? I shook my head. You killed her. She stood. She was fragile, so much sadness. You needed someone stronger, better. I studied her. I learned every word, every breath. I gave you peace. You're insane, she smiled. I'm perfection. I ran down the stairs, through the kitchen, into the basement. The smell hit me first, bleach and decay. I pulled the light cord and froze. The concrete was stained, scrubbed raw in places, but I could still see it. Faint outlines, a dark splash trailing to the drain, hair. A clump caught near the floorboards, and in the corner, her locket. I fell to my knees. It was real, all of it. She was dead, and I'd been living with her shadow. Behind me, the stairs creaked. I turned. She stood at the top, smiling. Don't cry, she whispered. Yeah, you still have me. She descended the basement steps slowly. Each footfall echoed like a ticking clock. You still don't remember me, she said softly, stepping into the pale light. Her eyes were calm now, almost sad. I'm not surprised. You never looked at me, not once. I backed away, my hand brushing against the cold cement wall. Who are you? She smiled, not Lily's smile, hers. I sat behind you in literature class, sophomore year. I wrote poems about you in the margins of my notebook. You never even asked my name. My heart pounded. Claire. The name slipped out like a ghost from a forgotten life. She nodded. Very good. I'm flattered you remembered. Eventually. I stared at her. The features. The way she moved. There were traces now, beneath the perfect mimicry of Lily's face. There was Claire. Older, sharper, tighter. But what did you do to her? She turned, fingers brushing the blood-stained floor. She was everything I wasn't. You married her. You gave her the life I dreamed about for years. I watched. I waited. I studied. Her voice trembled, anger and longing wrapped into one. When she went to the store that night, I followed. It wasn't supposed to happen that way, but she screamed. She fought. She paused. I buried her here, in the house you built for her. Now it's mine. I staggered back, bile rising in my throat. You killed her for me? That's not love, that's obsession, she snapped. Yes, maybe, but I'm here. I cook, I clean, I listen. I love you more completely than she ever did. You're sick, I breathed. She stepped closer. And yet you never noticed. For months, you smiled at me, slept beside me, whispered secrets. Don't blame me for being a good actress. Blame yourself for not knowing her well enough to tell. My legs gave out. They sank to the floor. Memories crashed into me, the laughter, the dinners, the nights we made love, all with the stranger. She knelt beside me, reaching out. I flinched, but she only placed something in my hand. The locket. Inside was a photo of Lily, and behind it, another photo, faded, torn, a teenage girl with braces standing behind me in a yearbook shot. Claire, you were always going to be mine. she whispered, "one way or another." Then she leaned close. "And now that you know." The cold metal of the locket burned in my hand. Claire knelt beside me, her eyes blazing, tender in a way that made my skin crawl, as if she truly believed this was love, as if everything she'd done was romantic. "Say it," she whispered. "Say you love me. Say we can be happy." I recoiled, slapping her hand away. "Don't touch me." Her face stiffened, her eyes widened. "Claire," I gasped, "you are not her. You'll never be her." "I became her for you," she screamed, her voice cracking. "Every word, every step, I studied her. You didn't even realize it, because you never looked at Lily deep enough. But I did everything to make you happy." "Happy?" I roared, getting to my feet. "You murdered my wife. You buried her under this house like she was nothing. And you think I could love you after that?" Claire rose, trembling. "I just wanted to see you every day. I cooked, I cleaned, I smiled when you needed it. I did everything right." "You're insane," I spat. "You think love is mimicking a dead woman? Love isn't wearing a mask. It's not murder." Her face twisted. "Then you were never happy with me." A sickening truth pulsed in my gut. I had been happy, blissfully ignorant in her lie. Comforted by the imitation, I had loved the mask. I hated myself for it. Claire stepped closer, tears trembling in her eyes. "You did love me until you found out who I was." "No," I said, voice low and cold. "I didn't love you. I loathe you. Every minute I slept beside you was a nightmare. Every touch, every kiss was a sin." Her expression cracked. "You don't get to judge me," she hissed. "You made me. You ignored me for 4 years in college. You chose her over me. If you had just looked at me—" "I still wouldn't have chosen you," I cut in. "I would never choose an obsessed, delusional killer." A heavy silence fell. Claire took a step back, her eyes filled with tears and fire, pain and hatred. Something inside her was breaking, and I knew then I wasn't safe anymore. Claire stood frozen, as if the words had struck her physically. "No," she whispered. "No, you're wrong. You're lying. You loved me. You just don't want to admit it now." Her voice cracked, fragile, desperate. Her hands trembled, clenched into fists at her sides. The kitchen light flickered above us, casting long shadows across the floor like reaching fingers. "I wanted you," she said, her voice a broken hum. "I wanted you so badly I gave up myself to be hers. I watched you smile at her for years while I faded into nothing. And when she died, when I finally had a chance, I gave you everything." I took a step back. "You gave me a lie." Her eyes sharpened, the softness draining from her face. "No," she hissed. "I gave you peace. I gave you breakfast in bed. I laughed at your stupid jokes. I held you when you were sick. I made this house feel alive again." "This house is a tomb," I said, my voice shaking. "And you're the ghost that's haunting it." Her expression twisted into something grotesque. Grief, fury, something inhuman. Her breathing became ragged, uneven. "Don't you understand?" she whispered. "If I can't be loved, I don't want to be." She turned and walked slowly to the dining room, her movements mechanical. I followed at a distance, heart pounding. Claire stood by the cabinet, Lily's favorite old wooden one, the one with chipped handles and that sweet creak when you opened it. She reached inside and pulled something out, a butcher's knife. My stomach turned. "No," I said firmly. put it down, Claire." Tears streamed down her face. "You took everything from me. I became perfect for you. I became her." "You can't force love," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "You stole it. You faked it. That's not the same." She raised the knife, but not toward me, toward herself. I lunged. "Claire, don't!" She screamed and dropped the knife, collapsed onto the floor, sobbing violently. I froze mid-step. "I didn't want to hurt her," she choked out. "I didn't mean to kill Lily. I just wanted to scare her, make her go away." But she fought back. She called me crazy. She said I'd never be you. She curled into herself, sobs echoing through the hollow bones of the house. That was when I heard it, the soft creak from above. The attic. I turned slowly. Claire didn't look up. "I told you, this house is never quiet." I backed away from her and ran upstairs. The attic door hung slightly open. Dust floated in the beam of a single exposed bulb. In the far corner, a shadow. I approached slowly, and then I saw it. A figure, skeletal, wrapped in the tattered remains of Lily's clothes. Her wedding band still on one bony finger. I collapsed to my knees. This house was never haunted by Claire. It was haunted by me, by my ignorance, by my blindness. I had eaten meals cooked in grief, slept beside a killer, laughed in a tomb. Below, Claire's cries quieted, and the house listened. I stumbled down the attic steps in silence, each creaking board a funeral drum in my ears. Claire sat slumped in the living room, the knife still glinting beside her. Her face was blank now. No tears, no rage. Just a hollowed-out shell of the woman who had once worn my wife's skin. "You found her," she whispered. I didn't answer. "I kept her close," she continued, voice flat. "I thought maybe, if her presence lingered, I wouldn't lose her completely. I even imagined she might approve, someday." I stared at her, speechless. "You hate me," she said quietly, "but I hate myself more. I don't sleep. I don't eat unless I'm pretending for you. Do you understand? There is no me left, just a performance waiting to end." I looked at the knife. A choice. Call the police. Let them drag her into a padded room and call it justice. Let the world know what I'd let into my home, what I'd welcomed. Or I could end it here, end her lie, end my guilt, burn it all. She looked up, almost reading my thoughts. "Do it," she said. "You want to, don't you? You want to erase me like I erased her." I moved toward her slowly, but then I saw something. Lily's photo on the mantel. The real Lily. The woman who used to hum in the kitchen, who laughed with her whole body, who never faked a thing. She wouldn't have wanted blood. She would have wanted truth. I dropped the knife. "No," I said. "You don't get to escape this. You don't get to disappear into ashes." Claire blinked. "You're letting me live?" "I'm letting you face what you've done." Her breath caught. I picked up the phone and called the police, speaking with a mechanical precision. I told them everything. When I hung up, Claire was sobbing again, but not from fear, from release. As the sirens echoed in the distance, I walked into the kitchen. The house was quiet now, not dead, just waiting. I sat at the table. The air still smelled like her perfume, not Lily's. Heron, I would never forget the months I lived with a ghost. The months I mistook obsession for love. I would never forget the warmth of a hand that wasn't hers, or the way the house smiled when I came home. All because someone needed to be loved, even if it meant killing to earn it. Outside, the red and blue lights danced across the walls. And still, somewhere in this house, the walls and the floorboards, I swear I could hear Lily crying. Not because she was angry, but because she'd been forgotten and remembered. Far too late.